All right, we're changing things up a little bit this morning. I think I talked to the men who are being honored saying they were first. Wrong. You're last. So we have a time restraint on one of the honorees for Distinguished Service Award. So we are going to do the ladies first. So the Distinguished Service Award, it's an honor for two people this year. Typically, that award is given to somebody who has done great service for the university. Individuals who are eligible to receive this award are those who have made exemplary contributions to Mayville State. This year's recipients are alums of the university. It is not a requirement for that award. Again, we're going in reverse order, so we're starting with somebody with the last name with a W. They usually don't get to be first or something. So, Cleone Whelan. Cleone is a Mayville native, graduated from Mayville State in 1962. Her career as an educator took her north to Cavalier, Hoople, and Crystal, North Dakota. Teaching music and English and being a librarian were her passions until retirement. However, Mayville State has been a passion of hers for years since as well. Cleone has loved many miles traveling from her home in Crystal to Mayville for hundreds of events, meetings, and work days supporting Mayville State events and activities. She and Pam, our other service award recipient this year, are kind of our wine ladies on the alumni board. They're the ones that we task with buying the wine for us. And of no disrespect to the rest of the alumni board members, but Cleone is a classy member. She always is dressed to the nines, whether it's for a meeting or a work day. So, Cleone, please come forward.
Well, thank you so much, and I really appreciate doing this backwards, although I do know for a fact this is oldest first, okay? But my daughter, who came from Grand Forks, her youngest son is playing his last soccer game in the state tournament, and she needs to be in Fargo by 11 o'clock, and so I do appreciate that she got to stay for this part. But and you know what? This truly is the school of personal service. Yes, I appreciate this. You know, I welcome you people. It's so nice to see people. I know some of you. I don't know a lot of you, but good fans and good friends. You know, it's hard to be a good friend of Doug Anderson's and live only 15 miles from him and not get involved in Mayville State. He's the driving force. I think he calls several times a week and he's planning this and planning that. But this has truly been, I love coming down here and working with our board, working with you people from Mayville, all these people that I come in contact with. I've maintained so many good acquaintances, made so many good friends through all this, and been a part of so many fun things. And it has truly been not work for me at all, but a learning. And I feel I've benefited because of all the contacts I've made and all the things I've learned and whatever. And I thank Debbie and Linda for nominating me and appreciating what I've done. And I just hope that I can continue at my age to come down and do more and continue, because it's so much fun. And Mayville is truly a special place. So, go Comets, and especially go MSU.
Pam Soholt. Pam came to Mayville State and graduated in 1977, and she never left. She began her career at Mayville State in the business office and transitioned to the bookstore, where she worked until retiring this past November. She's been one of the friendly faces in the bookstore that students and alumni have come to appreciate. Pam has been an active member of the Mayville State Alumni Board, a position that we have called no term limits, so she's a lifer. She gives of her time and talents to help all of the aspects of alumni functions, from Farmers Bowl to homecoming to emceeing the grad brunch, every graduation in May. Also pulling weeds and picking out our wine. She's a proud ambassador for Mayville State no matter where she is. I spent many teenage years down the street from her at my house, my married life down the street from her house. I think I babysat her kids a few times. She had me buy several expensive textbooks, right, everybody? Yeah. And my kids have bought expensive textbooks from you. Pam Soholt, congratulations.
Thank you, Cindy. Well, first, congratulations to Ron, Joe, Jim, and I do remember each of them as students, and I'm very proud of you. If they were at the grad brunch, a quote I've used for many years is from Minor Myers Jr., and it goes as this: go into the world and do well, but more importantly, go into the world and do good. Gentlemen, you've been great examples of that. You're wonderful additions to your home communities and show everyone what it truly means to be a Mayville State alum. I know you're not done with those amazing careers and will continue to shine. Cleone, we worked side by side for many years. I'm so blessed to call you a dear friend and be honored with you today. Thanks. But thank you doesn't seem to be the right words for many people. Again, Debbie and Linda, thank you for nominating me. The conversations we've had over a glass of wine and a napkin where some of these ideas have come to fruition. Linda and I started school together a number of years ago. Terry and Mike, other friends that are here. You know, when you've been here longer than dirt, you get to have those friends. So I've really, really been blessed. And also, Debbie, happy birthday. We'll have a toast later. And to the alumni board members, you know, thanks for your diligent work. We've had so much fun together, as Cleone had said. You are so appreciated, especially for me being on campus. You know, you weren't, and you still give from your heart, so I appreciate that. To Clark, my husband, who's also a Mayville State grad, and he coached for many years. He moved a box or two. He learned a few things about bookstore business. I had him deliver books to dual credit kids. They were cheap labor. And I'm really excited to have family members with me today. Our son Aaron, who graciously gave up coaching his boys in football today in Grand Forks. I appreciate that. His wife Billy Jo and the boys are in Grand Forks. My daughter Danielle and Tim, and my sister-in-law in the back. So thank you for being here to share. This journey began a few decades ago. Yes, definitely decades. When Mike Sherwhite, a Mayville State alum, was one of my business instructors at Lisbon High School. He knew I was interested in accounting and recommended that I look at Mayville State, as he thought it would be a good fit and I would do well there. Well, Mike, I wish I had that crystal ball for a few other predictions, because your amazing advice led me to a wonderful adventure. Thank goodness I was smart enough to listen to you. And so thank you, Mike and Judy, for being here. And on a side note, Judy's sister, Sandy Railing, was a volleyball coach for a number of years here. And so it was fun having another Lisbon native here. And I know you gentlemen probably had her as an instructor. I started my employment, as she said, in the business office while I was still a student, and Janice was my supervisor. We learned a lot together as we transitioned from paper accounting to the very first computer system that the state system had. Her office was really tiny, and my chair was the garbage can. That's where we discussed a lot of those things. She's become a dear friend and confidant, so I'm really glad she could be here too. Also in that role, we always wrote hand receipts. You know, you came in for a transcript request and the name was written. So luckily, during those times, I really did learn to put names and faces together. Something that sadly we lost with ID cards and those things. But Then I moved into the bookstore world, and I went from balancing the books to, yes, selling those horribly expensive things. I remember the first book that was over $50. It was a calculus book, and I almost cried. Obviously $50 today. But I also got to buy those books back from you guys and give you cash for a few bucks. But the local establishments liked you because you got old cash. And so, you know, and I was so lucky to be surrounded by 18 to 24-year-olds during a time of their life that was typically pretty good. I watched them grow into adulthood, although some took a little bit longer than others, they did make it. You know, but throughout the years, it wasn't selling books, it wasn't comic gear that was most important to me. It was developing the relationships with those students. The bookstore was a safe place on campus. They could come and vent to me. There were no repercussions. I didn't give you a grade. I could listen, I could give advice like, don't you dare show up in Marty Johnson's class without your book, because he's going to send you back the very first day to the bookstore to buy it anyway. So just have it with you. Or don't be late for Mr. Cameron's class. Do not be late, right? I could solve a fear. I don't know if he was or not. Maybe he listened. No. I could solve a fair number of problems, and if I couldn't, at least I knew who to turn to for extra help. Sometimes my advice was more direct, like dropping into that parent role, or sadly, in the last few years, I could be their grandma. And telling them, you know what, take part in commencement. Get the gown. Your family's so proud of you. And we wanted to celebrate your success. One of the things that one of our VPs started a couple of years ago with New Student Day, we would have a quick introduction, and faculty and staff would line up and we would meet kids during orientation events. And what I started to tell them was, you know, my goal right now is to get your materials in your hands. But my ultimate goal is I want you to come and buy your cap and gown. We all want to see you succeed. And I was really, really fortunate to watch thousands of kids walk across that stage. Now I look back and I'm thankful for homecoming and Farmer's Bowl as it brings back alum to campus. The bookstore was a great place to be as you guys would come and visit, spend some dollars, and share stories of your life. Sometimes it was all hugs and laughter, but sadly we also shared tears together. Being active in the Alumni Association has also given me many opportunities to continue those relations and provide ways for Mayville State alumni and friends to gather, reminisce, and share stories. The golf tournaments, socials, and homecoming are just a few of those events. For those of you that were at the honoree banquet, the Hall of Fame last night, I was really lucky. I knew every individual in that group except for James Lewis. Clark and James had played football together, and they both had the opportunity to go on for tryouts with Green Bay. So this was a name I had heard for a number of years. So it was so fun to finally, after all those years, meet this gentleman. And I think most of the room was in tears as he shared his story of coming from Indianapolis as a first-generation student and what we meant to him. It really did embody what Mayville State is all about. You know, I was fortunate enough to go to school with some of the others or watch the others play. And you know, my bookstore role and the alumni board duties really meshed together. Many of the events happen in this very room, and with the bookstore just down the hall, and yes, they're going to be open a little bit later, so go spend some money. It was fun to see the behind the scenes, decorating for tables du jour, setting up for Farmer's Bowl auction, homecoming events, all blended together. My wonderful co-worker Cheryl and I had so much fun together supporting these events. Cheryl, you made my tenure at the bookstore amazing. Thank you for everything you did to make us a successful team. And Brad, you also were called into duty. You know, these poor guys, they just got called into duty. Again, we said it was good for them to learn what we were doing on the other side, as did my kids. I was also able to be involved in a National Association of College Bookstores and presented at a number of national conferences. Can you imagine getting up for an 8 o'clock class about retail math? margin markup and all of those things. But once again, it was amazing. All of the people across the country that I ran into that had Mayville State connections, they were from numerous states and had moved on, and it was so fun to share those stories. And you know, my friends from large campuses just didn't get how we could know our students and how I actually knew our faculty members. They live in a completely different environment than we did. And as Cindy said, I've emceed the brunch for many years, and I've always said at the end to the kids, it said, please go out and recommend Mayville State. Look what it's done for you. Well, I surely hope they take that advice to heart, because Mike, look what your advice led to, a lifetime commitment and love of Mayville State. Thank you again for honoring me with the service award. I cherish it, and I'm so proud to be a part of Combat's lives. Thank you. Blessings to you all.
This year, we're honoring three people for the Mayville State Distinguished Alumni Award. This award is presented to graduates of Mayville State who have been leaders in their fields for a minimum of 10 years. The recipients' full bios are listed in your programs. I'm a 1993 graduate of Mayville State, so all of this award winners are from the 90s. So I feel I'm in pretty good company. We'll begin with Joe Eisenmann. Dr. Joe Eisenmann graduated from Mayville State in 1993. He has dedicated his entire career to the development of young people. His area of expertise is young people and their physical activity and youth and sports and fitness. He has been an educator, researcher, sports scientist, coach, just to name a few. He completed his PhD at another MSU, Michigan State. Joe has been named one of the world's top sports scientists. Again, one of the world's top sports scientists. He has been on national and international committees. He's collaborated with USA Football and USA Hockey. He's currently the head strength and conditioning position at the IMG Academy in Florida, and also a visiting professor at Leeds Beckett University at the University of Saskatchewan. Joe.
Thanks for the introduction. This is the third time that I've been honored by this university. The two other times were the 1990 baseball team and the 1993 baseball team. And getting here today is definitely a team effort as well. And it started with Scott Berry recruiting me to play baseball here. At the time, that's all I wanted to do. I wasn't much interested in academics. I was laser focused on being a great ball player and contributing to the tradition and dynasty of common baseball. I have to thank my teammates as well, a few of them who are here today, who taught me a lot about the trials and tribulations of being a young person and setting me forward into my adult life. Honored to share the stage as well with one of my teammates. He is the one that my teammates call the real doctor. For real. One of my teammates constantly reminds me, Ron is the real doctor, Joe. Ron, congratulations. I had an injury my real senior year, and that's when I turned my attention to academics. At the same time, I met my wife, Dr. Eisenmann, who has also been honored with this award, and she's been a rock on me. Dr. Marty Johnson and one of his former students, John Papier, really set a fire in me to study the science of human movement and sports performance, and that really launched me into my graduate studies. About my first pursue our graduate studies at Northern Arizona University and at Michigan State University. And then continued my career in academia. I've been to several universities. Now I've stepped away from University of Life and more on the practical side at a sports academy in Florida called the IMG Academy, which produces a lot of top college athletes and professional athletes as well. So, but I have to also thank my colleagues, my mentors, and a lot of my students as well who help that fire in me to continue to better understand how these young people move, what are the best practices for training programs, and then giving back to new coach education as well, which I know Mayville State was a bedrock of that with last night several coaches being inducted into the Coach Hall of Fame as well. So at the end of the day, I told Coach Barry this before, when I'm doing my work and I'm typing, my fingers bleed blue. And I'll forever be a comment. Thank you.
Dr. Reilkoff. Ron graduated from Mayville State in 1997 with a chemistry major. After Mayville State, he attended and graduated from the University of North Dakota School of Medicine and completed his internal med residency at Yale. Dr. Reilkoff holds licensures and certifications in internal medicine, pulmonary medicine, and critical care medicine. He is a medical doctor, author, researcher, just to name a few. He is currently at the University of Minnesota teaching and researching as well as overseeing the ICUs and directing medical students. Dr. Reilkoff.
I'm not sure who that guy is, that introduction, but thank you. Well, I'm thankful and I'm humbled to be honored here. And particularly, it's special, and it's actually even more special to be honored with Dr. Eisenmann. Not only, he doesn't know this, but he was the role model as a incoming freshman, as a senior. He was someone I looked up to and was a role model of how he should act as a Comet, as a student, as a ball player, and he had the longest home run I've ever seen. It was still rising over the lights. I think it was in my life, if I'm not mistaken. But it's special to get this award with you. It's still unbelievable when we look back at the kind of the journey that I've been on, and if I had someone who told me that this at the outset would be like you're full of stuff. But to come from a small town in Manitoba, Forest Prairie, to come to a smaller town, Mayville State for college in the U.S., to ending up at the University of North Dakota Medical School, then somehow ending up on the East Coast in Connecticut, and then joining faculty at the University of Minnesota. At each step along the way, like I've often asked myself, like, how the hell did I get here? I asked myself this morning, how did I get here? But the answer is obvious, though. It's the people. It's the individuals who have helped and supported me along the way. Number one is my wife, my chemistry partner. In '97, I think there was like 4 of us that graduated with chemistry degrees. 2 of them became close friends, and I married the 3rd. So to be honest, I think one of the secrets of success in life is marrying a Mayville State grad. So you can thank my kids, Avery, Alex, and Axel, for keeping me on my toes. Obviously, my parents, my American parents, Lee and Cynthia, who are also distinguished alumni. So now that I'm in the club, I can get a matching distinguished alumni tattoo. I'm proudly displaying every time we go to Florida. But it goes without saying that I would not be here without the mentorship of Coach Scott Berry. He has molded the characters of so many young men over his tenure, and we're forever indebted. Not just what we've learned, but again, the camaraderie, the fraternity, and the tradition, and being proud of who you are, and being proud of a Comet, to be a Comet. And I say the same thing about Dr. Robert Meese and the late Dr. Dorothy Johansson. And all I can say to the three of you is thank you. Thank you for everything. And thank you, Mayville State.
As Ron is sitting down, did you notice he was doing his speech off his phone? And did you notice the font on my paperwork? Really? Yeah, well, I was earlier 90s than he was, I guess. Also, his mother-in-law, Cynthia, was a speech coach, so, oofda. Yeah, right. Our final award recipient is Jim Richardson. Jim graduated from Mayville State in 1992 with a major in business administration and a minor in marketing. After graduating as a Comet, Jim returned to Canada and has excelled not only as a businessman, but as a philanthropist and a volunteer. His career life has included being a part of FedEx Canada, Johnson & Johnson, and Ethicon. Jim has been exemplary in sales and service, receiving numerous honors and awards. In his life away from work, he is passionate about Operation Smiles and Make-A-Wish. He has been on medical missions in several countries and on top of several mountaintops, raising money for his worthy organizations. Jim.
No one said anything about tattoos, but it's always, you know, if you always want your first one, that's a good one. Oh, if my wife was here, she'd already have her hand in her face. Stay on script, Jim. Well, that's not. But thank you all very, very much. I'm extremely proud, honored, privileged to be up here today and accepting the honor of being Distinguished Alumni. First off, I'd like to congratulate everyone else who's being inducted today. Joe, Ron, Pam, Cleone. I hope you're still here. Congratulations to you all. I'm sure you all had amazing careers and impacted a lot of lives along the way. Thank you to the Alumni Association, Mayville State as a whole, the faculty who have had a big impact on myself growing up, peers as well. Many of them are here. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate that. I feel so fortunate that many years ago, Coach LeClaire found me and I found Mayville State. It's amazing how 1/10 of my life occupies so much of my heart and memories. It's just such a special place. I recall the first time I came to visit the university. Big John and I, those who know me know Big John. When we first arrived on campus, we did a lot of walking around town, and I was a little taken back at first about how nice everyone was. You know, whether they were walking by or driving by or 2 blocks away, if they saw you, they were waving. And I'm like, I'm looking behind me. I tried that back home in Toronto. I don't know if it would go over as well, but but what I learned quickly was how great a community this was. The faculty, the students, the local community. It seemed like they all subscribed to the same culture of genuinely caring and supporting and being helpful and welcoming. And so it made my decision very easy to come to school that next fall. When I came that fall, I recall it coming out of the old gym at the time. The first person I ran into was Jay. And after talking with Jay, and it sort of solidified that, wow, we made a good decision. And that's why you're here. You're back here because of who you are, and it made it fun. I love seeing my former teammates like Jay and Ronnie back here, sort of guiding and leading the next group of leaders to come out of Mayville State. So it's refreshing, and it's not surprising. I've worked with 2 incredible organizations that are extremely mindful and committed to making a difference both in the local community and the international community, which really helped instill in me my desire and commitment to work a lot more with helping others. Stay on script. Um, with the help of my incredible family behind me, which sadly they're not here today. There was other commitments, family across Canada. But we've been able to make a difference in many lives across the globe. And I think it's really important to lend a hand to others, not only in your own backyard, which is important, but throughout the world. I think a school like Mayville, which is personal service, it helped me early on in installing those building blocks to want to help and support the communities. Some of my professors back in the day might not have saw that in me. Am I right? Just a quick story before I wrap up. I'm always chatting with my daughters about my university experience. Some of my university experience. My eldest daughter, Alicia, she's in her third year at McMaster University in Ontario. And for something, it came up about she was going to miss a class. And I'm like, are they going to know? You don't take attendance. I'm like, attendance? Did it Mayville? And I had to tell her the story, classic, going to Doc Nelson's class. And every time it seemed like he was either very surprised that John and I were there. I don't know if anyone else got this, but it was 8 o'clock, Pocket Watch comes out. It's like, yeah, Mr. Murray. Oh, there you are. You gotta think about it. I think we hit a little bit sometimes. Just like, anyways, as we're just want to wrap things up. Once again, thank you to my common brothers and sisters, and especially those who made the journey with me from Winnipeg to Toronto. It's always a good day to be a comment, as Lonnie says, and let's go kick some butt in today. Thank you.
We have a few people who would like to bring in greetings from their respective offices, and we'll begin with Lon Jorgensen. He is the Mayville State Foundation Executive Director, and he too is a 1990s era person, graduating in 93 as well. So Lon.
On behalf, and forgive my voice, I called Bingham on Thursday night. It took me out last night, exacerbated the situation. There'll be no talking from this point on for about the next week. But on behalf of the MSU Foundation, I'd like to offer congratulations to all 5 Distinguished Alumni Service winners. What a crew. You start looking down the names. Cleone, we should have an office for a few people in the Alumni Center because they're there so often. Doug Anderson's one, but Cleone's another one. She's just always there, and she's just always there doing anything. Just read her brief bio if you want to look for proof. Thank you, Cleone. Dr. Reilkoff, well, if anyone has been through a family member with intensive care issues, you can only know the effort and brain power it takes to be the individual that man is. So it just speaks to his abilities. And now we get to the better ones. Dr. Joe Eisenmann. Did you know Dr. Eisenmann, Joey back in the day, had Senator Quentin Burdick visit him in his trailer looking for his vote in 1990. It was obvious to the rest of us because on the floor in duct tape was a star with the name Quentin Burdick inside it. It was a wonderful conversation starter. Pam Soholt, who hasn't had a conversation with Pam if they went to school here any time in the last 40 years. Side note, best hugs, Pam Soholt. Second side note, Pam, you're not older than dirt. You're older than some dirt. And finally, Jimmy Richardson. Jim and I go way back. We spent a lot of time studying together. There was numerous nights that till the wee hours of the morning. Boy, we hammered through the classes, but numerous accolades over his life, and now he has Distinguished Alumni to the ranks. However, did you know that Jim got his start making juice. That's right, juice. Or maybe it was jungle juice. I'm getting old. I can't remember like I used to. However, to this day, he's the only man I know who needed a 6-gallon cooler, and he would just start throwing things in, fruit and other concoctions. People would come from all over for just 1 cup. That 1 cup was always enough. Thank you to all 5 honorees. You make Mayville State what it is. You make Mayville State proud, and you make Mayville State better every day. Congratulations. God bless. Thank you.
That happened one other time when I was in charge of this. And somebody came up and took my whole script, and I had to walk to the back of the room to get my script, so at least you're sitting in the front. For those of you who haven't heard our president speak in front of an audience before, you're going to quickly realize he isn't from around here. And he's not from Canada, so we understand Canada, but he's from someplace else. But he has quickly become a local voice, so please, President Van Horn.
I realized that Cindy was right. When I went to my first month here, I went to Clifford, North Dakota, wear a pair of shorts on and a t-shirt to a plowing bee. And I was just Brian. I just wanted to see the old equipment and stuff, and I walked up, poor gentleman on a tractor. And I said, oh, it's a 720 John Deere. It's a 2-cylinder. Does it have the pony motor? And I go through all the details. I knew about the tractor. And the guy, after I rattled off about 4 things, said, where are you from? There's more to this story, but we'll leave that one for another day. So first and foremost, before I really start my formal remarks, I never cease to be amazed at the level at which graduates from this small university in the Plains go on and do well for the world. Think about this. We have people that have been nationally renowned. I went home and told my 18-year-old son that can barely get across the street some days by himself, that one of our inductees was from IMG, and he starts rattling off details about IMG and that all the professional athletes go there. We have another guy that goes and sits with people at Yale and Johns Hopkins and Harvard and these other places and competes with them equally or exceeds from this small university in the Plains. And last but not least, somebody that's given their life to service towards others in Canada and other places in a very exemplary career. You just can't, statistics do not allow that to happen from a university our size when you look at those accomplishments. So hats off to all the inductees. And then you look at these 2 young ladies that have lived at this university for many, many years, about the same number of years as dirt, I'm told, and given back day after day, year after year, and helped shape young people into great adults. So thank you. So this morning we honor those who have served the university in various ways over the years. And I've been fortunate really to work with 2 of these Distinguished Service Award honorees closely and have always admired, Cleone, you and Pam, your dedication to selfless service, regardless of the job that was there to be done. They move chairs, they haul things, they decorate, but they also give the very best hugs and encouragement that one could ever hope for. Pam and Cleone, you inspire me and others to step forward to serve, to help others. Your dedication to Mayville State has made a lasting impact to all you have volunteered to do, for all that you have volunteered to do for years. You both give life to the term Common Proud. So thank you for your service to our great university. And our 3 recipients of the Distinguished Alumni Award all share a common thread. Now work with me here, Joe. All share a common thread. They grew up or worked in Canada and attend attended Mayville State to be an outstanding student, which they accomplished. But they were also all very great athletes in addition. Whether it be moving mountains or in some cases climbing them, for the charity that they have all become extraordinary professionals in their careers. The common goal for all has been service to others, and you just heard that. Very humble, but they serve other people. Personal service. Personal service. They exemplify the theme of that personal service that continues to be the Mayville State brand. How many were at the event last night? Many of you. You heard James Lewis speak. He talked about luck. So I couldn't help but use this morning because I thought it was perfect to describe what he saw as luck in his definition. He said when they beat one of the universities that they beat, people said it was lucky. And he said the coach said it wasn't luck, and it wasn't. Scott Berry's in here, there's others in here, it wasn't luck. It was where preparation and opportunity intersected. And they took the right road with that opportunity and the preparation. They had worked and utilized the preparation that they had had. So on behalf of Mayville State University, we're very proud of you, all of the recipients today, for all that you do to make really this world a better place around you. Congratulations, and most of all, welcome back home to Mayville State University. Have a wonderful day visiting with family and friends. Thank you.
So after listening to everybody who has received an award today, and even just in little conversations in the room, it's pretty obvious that this isn't just a university. So thank you to everybody for that. One announcement, award recipients meet Beth over here afterwards for a picture, please. Quick note of what's happening for the rest of the day. If you have not had an opportunity to take a look at Doug Anderson's portraits, hand-done portraits out in the hallway, if you're an athlete or not an athlete, they are really incredible to look at. You are going to all recognize people in those eras and those and such, so please have that time to look at that. In the tailgating area, there is tailgating, obviously. There is reunion on the 5s out there, so please make your way over to the Grove for some tailgating. Bookstore is open from 11 to 12:30, so get some new comic gear as well. At noon, over by the Larson Center, the Alumni Center building, there is the military remembrance ceremony that will happen over there. 1 o'clock, football game, homecoming football game versus Waldorf. And then also we do have, this doesn't happen every homecoming, but we do have home volleyball this year. So that is going to be happening in the field house. There is JV at 3:30 and 5:30 varsity versus Dickinson. So please enjoy the activities for homecoming this year. If you travel from a distance, safe travels home, and always come back to Mayville State. Go Comets!